Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So today we will be talking about the history of 1920s fashion, and I received two flapper dresses from Unique Vintage that have that 1920s inspiration, so I thought that this would be the perfect time to do a fun 1920s lookbook. So let's talk a little bit about the 1920s. I was lucky enough to find this book in my house. It was my dad's All-American Ads from the 1920s, and there was so much inspiration in here. I also have a few textbooks from when I studied the history of fashion in fashion school, so I'm going to share some of those with you as well. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Laura and welcome, and this is where I talk about all things vintage, fashion, and beauty, so please don't forget to subscribe and hit the big red button below. Alright, let's jump right into the history of 1920s fashion. After World War I, women's role in society changed. Women had the right to vote, and the way they dressed was a lot different since a lot of women had to help out during World War I. So a lot of women end up chopping off their hair really short so it wouldn't get caught in heavy machinery. You can see I'm wearing my makeup in a 1920s style, but I will be talking all about 1920s makeup in another video very soon, so stay tuned. So women in the 1920s wore a it was very masculine compared to the looks before. This was the first time in history that women actually showed their legs with dresses. Like, never before did women ever show their legs, so this was very new in history where women were actually able to show their legs. Women did not wear corsets at all, so that S curve, that very feminine look, was not in style anymore. Women had a very square silhouette, very flat chested. The dresses were kind of very loose and square. Wear actually a bandeau, which is similar to nowadays. I feel like today, like the very large breasted look isn't as in style as it, let's say, used to be, but I think the 1920s look is kind of very current in many ways. So women were very free. The flapper was like what they called a younger woman. A flapper would spend her evenings out socializing and dancing, and this kind of came to be because of jazz music, which was introduced to North America. So lots of people would spend the evenings in the speakeasy dancing and wearing a classic flapper dress. So the first dress that I got from Unique Vintage is this beautiful glittered black flapper dress. It has that very straight silhouette, as you can see, and it had all the fringe details on the sleeves as well as the hem. It also has a very Art Deco lining on it with the sequins. As you can see, all the very angular lines, which was very Art Deco, which was a very popular art movement in the 1920s. Also, I wanted to mention the 1920s Egypt was becoming very popular because I found a tomb which was discovered in the 20s, so there's kind of our Egyptian revival. And as you can see, this dress kind of reminds me of Egypt in many ways with the glittery sequins and just the lines, as well as women's hair. You know that movie Cleopatra, which took place way after the 1920s, but that was inspired by the 1920s with her angular hair, similar to my style right now. And the second dress from Unique Vintage is another kind of flapper dress. I love the kind of peachy tone with this one, with the pink sequins. Again, it has a very Art Deco line to it with the flower pattern, and on this one it has the fringe on the bottom, which was very popular in the 1920s for flappers because it kind of gave a movement when they were dancing. And also during the 1920s, women loved to wear little sequined bags, and this one is from Unique Vintage as well, and it's like a 1920s replica. I think it's really well made because I have actually a lot of vintage bags, and it even comes with a longer chain if you want that option. But I quite like the design of it. It has very detailed beading. I think it's very beautiful. So this is like a 1920s bag that a typical woman would wear in the evening. And in the 1920s, a woman liked to wear shoes that had a T-strap in the front. These shoes are not from the 1920s, but they have that T-strapped look. They also wore shoes with like a strap across this way as well, and not a very high heel, but just kind of like a squared off heel in the back. Also, women love, since they had short hair, similar to my style, some even shorter, they love to wear cloche hats. It's kind of like a hat that goes very tight over your head and kind of sometimes can be angular, kind of going down around your eyes. And this was a very popular style of hat during the 1920s because that kind of kept your hair down and in place. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this series. I'm really excited to jump right into it and possibly do the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. And I always loved reading about the history of fashion in each decade when I was in school. So this is really enjoyable for me to kind of like revisit what I studied and kind of revisit all my learning. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!